Hello everyone, myself CAS Ranjit Kumar, an associate member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, a practicing chartered accountant by profession and a teacher by passion. And also, I'm an alumni of Loyola College of Chennai, where I did my undergraduation, Bachelor's of Commerce. I have an 8 years of profound experience, including artificial training in the area of audit and taxation. Recently after completion of my chartered accountancy, I also completed the certification course on concurrent audit of banks, and I've also attended certificate course on India where I have yet to appear for the exam. So this is my small introduction, whereas let me share the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, myself CAS Ranjit Kumar, Indirect Tax Faculty in Adhyapana Academy. This is my small introduction I have said earlier. So let me get into the example of time of supply with this example. Okay. Suppose I am ordering an iPhone today from Chennai, from Amazon. Okay. Basically from Amazon app, I used to book or order a phone. It says that after making the payment, it says that it will be delivered to Chennai in 5 days. Okay. Now product is, so even whenever we book or order a product from Amazon, after the booking confirmation, the message used to get pop up saying that it is available in Gurgaon, it's available in Delhi, or it's available in the Bangalore, or it's available in the Hyderabad, like that it used to come, right? Similarly, in this example also, when I purchased an iPhone and I ordered an iPhone, Amazon says that it is available in Delhi Amazon hub. Nothing but it's there in Delhi. Okay. So now Amazon asked, it says that the estimated time to deliver the days for the phone is 5 days. Okay. Now Amazon took 1 day to pack the product. Okay. Amazon took 1 day to pack the product and transfer it to the logistics department. So ஒரு நாள்ல அவனுங்க என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க, அமேசான்ல இருக்க எம்ப்ளாயிஸ் எல்லாம் நம்மளோட ப்ராடக்ட்டை பேக் பண்ணி அவங்க லாஜிஸ்டிக் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. லாஜிஸ்டிக் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் அங்க இருந்து டிபார்ட் பண்ணுது நம்மளோட ப்ராடக்ட்டை. வேர் from Amazon Delhi here, it is transferred to logistics department. From logistics department, it has transferred the product on the next day to the Bangalore, and it reaches Bangalore in the 3rd day, which is nothing but it took 2 days to travel from Delhi to Bangalore Amazon hub. Okay, so it reaches the Bangalore Amazon on the 3rd day. From there, it reaches to the Chennai hub on 5th day from the date of ordering. Finally, I received the product. Okay, so when time of supply in this transaction, when time of supply, so does it apply when I made the payment, or does it apply Amazon confirms the product, or does it apply when Amazon packed the product, or does it apply when Amazon transferred the packed product to the logistics department, or does it apply when the product removed from the logistics department, or does it apply when the product reaches the Bangalore Amazon hub, or does it apply when the product reaches the Chennai hub, or does it apply when I receive the product in hand? So these so many instances applies for time of supply. So when that is what time of supply. Okay, so when the liability attracts for the supplier or recipient in some cases. So whether time of supply differs if the payment is made through cash while receiving the phone. So in the first scenario, we have made the payment through online transfer, whereas in second scenario, we are making the payment through cash only while receiving the phone. So when the time of supply attracts while taking the payment, or time of supply attracts when the goods were removed, or when time of supply attracts when the goods were removed, all these questions will be clarified in the subsequent slides. Okay, we'll get into the, you have this question in mind, and we'll you will answer in the subsequent slide when the same has been taught. Okay, What is time of supply? Time of supply is nothing but the liability to pay tax on goods or services or both shall arise at the time of supply as determined in the provisions of the Act. It means that the point in time when the goods and services have been deemed to be supplied or services have been deemed to be provided for determining when the taxpayer is liable to pay taxes. Okay. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா எப்போ டாக்ஸ் அப்ளை ஒரு டிரான்சாக்ஷன் ஹேப்பன் ஆகுதுப்பா இல்ல ஒரு ஆக்டிவிட்டி நடக்குதுப்பா எப்போ டாக்ஸ் இஸ் liable to be paid by the supplier. So அந்த scenarios that we are going to see now. In order to calculate and discharge tax liabilities, it is important to know the date when the tax liability arises. That is the date on which the charging event occurred. Income tax law, you will see in the charging section for all kind of income, there may be charging section. So similarly, for indirect taxes in GST law, this is the charging section for time of supply. Okay, the GST law has provided separate provisions to determine the time of supply of goods and time of supply of services as per section 12, 13 and 14. Okay, which will be learned in the subsequent slides. Okay. What are the sections involved in time of supply? Inna sections involved? Okay, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 14. So 12 subsection 1, 12 section 2, 12 section 3, 12 section 4, subsection 5, subsection 6, 13 subsection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 14. 12 deals about only time of supply of goods. So what is 13 deals about time of supply of services. Then what is 14? 14 deals time of supply in case of there is change in rate of tax. It talks about only when there is change in rate of tax. 12 talks about time of supply of goods. 13 talks about time of supply of services. Okay. Okay, right. So 12 subsection 1 basically talks about the liability to pay tax on goods shall arise at the time of supply. So the liability to pay tax on goods shall arise at the time of supply. For goods விக்கிறோம் எப்போ tax apply? நான் இன்வாய்ஸ் கொடுக்கும் போதா இல்ல பேமெண்ட் ரிசீவ் பண்ணும் போதா இல்ல கூட்ஸ் நான் ரிமூவ் பண்ணும் போதா இல்ல கூட்ஸ் ரிசிபியன்ட்டுக்கு அவைலபிளா வச்சும் போதா இல்ல கூட்ஸ் ரிசிபியன்ட்டுக்கு டெலிவர் ஆகும் போதா? ஆல் தி சினாரியோ அந்த மாதிரி scenarios சொல்லி எப்போ tax is attracted. So that is what we are going to learn now in the subsequent sections. So 12 subsection 2 time of supply of goods in case of forward charge mechanism. In case of forward charge mechanism, what is forward charge mechanism? Forward charge mechanism, there is a concept called forward charge mechanism and reverse charge mechanism, boys and girls, basically. Okay, what is forward charge mechanism? Forward charge mechanism in which generally supplier collects tax from the recipient or buyer or consumer of goods or services or both and pay or remitted to the government. This mechanism is called forward charge mechanism. So forward charge mechanism nothing but suppose we are suppose I'm hungry, I'm going to an hotel. Okay, basically I ordered one biryani, whereas he has delivered he has given the biryani to me and I had it. Subsequently he has given the bill of supply or basically whatever the invoice or whatever, he has given the bill where I made the payment. Okay, whereas I made the payment. So this is nothing but supplier provides the goods or services to me against which I have consumed, for which I have made the payment. So this mechanism for which he will collect the tax for the supply provided to the recipient from the recipient. This mechanism is called as forward charge mechanism. Okay, so when forward charge, in case of forward charge mechanism, when time of supply is attracted, that is what we are going to learn now. Okay, that is what we are going to learn now. So time of supply shall be earlier of date of invoice or due date for raising invoice under section 31 or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So wherein The date of payment is further classified as date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of the supplier. So forward charge mechanism is nothing but it deals about only supplier. Okay, so date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of the supplier. So in the previous scenario wherein I had biryani, right? So whereas that when I made the payment through GPay, basically when I made the payment through GPay, it will get recorded in the bank account, okay, on the same day. Whereas I will make the, suppose I'm recording that receipt entry on the subsequent day, means so subsequent day is the date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of the suppliers, whereas the date on which amount is credited in the previous year, which is previous day, which is today. Which suppose I'm consuming the biryani today, if okay, so the date on which amount is credited is today, whereas the payment is recorded in the books of accounts is tomorrow. So in this case, whichever is earlier is today, which is nothing but date on which payment is credited in the books of accounts of the supplier. Okay. Yeah. So the date of invoice is nothing but when I consume that biryani, that hotel owner will issue an invoice to me. So date of invoice is on the same day. Due date for raising, that we'll learn in the subsequent slide. Okay, please leave this alone, guys. So date of invoice is nothing but on the date on which the invoice is issued to the recipient, whereas date on which payment is credited is today, date on invoice issued is today, whereas payment is recorded in the subsequent day. So whichever is earlier is date of invoice or the amount is credited. In both the scenarios same, we will take date of invoice itself. So date of invoice shall be the time of supply in case of that example. Okay, so we have a question of what is due date for raising invoice under section 31. That will be learned in the subsequent slide. Okay, so there are 4 circumstances which classifies the supply of goods basically as per section 31. It says that supply involves movement of goods, supply does not involve movement of goods, continuous supply of goods, supply on approval basis. These 4 circumstances talks in section 31 of CGST Act. Section 31 of CGST Act says 4 scenarios, which is supply involve movement of goods, does not involve movement of goods, continuous supply of goods, and sale or return basis or supply and approval basis. Both are same category only. Wherein it says that when supply involves movement of goods, which means ஒரு இடத்துல இருந்து இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு நீ goods transfer பண்ற or ஒரு shift பண்ற. So அது shift பண்ணும்போது when that supply attracts, so when time of supply attracts, nothing but date of removal of goods or date of invoice or date of payment. The date of payment criteria you already knew. The date of payment whichever is earlier. So suppose we will get to the example later. Okay, so in case of supply involves movement of goods, the time of supply shall be earlier of date of removal of goods or date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Okay, fine. Notification number 66/2017 dated 15/11/2017, where it says that it has exempted all taxpayers from payment of tax on advances received in case of supply of goods. Okay, so now supply of goods பண்றேன், for which I have received an advance from the recipient. அப்போ whether when receiving the advance, whether I am liable to pay taxes. See, once again we'll go to the case. Suppose I am supplying movement of goods, okay, wherein I am yet to remove the goods, wherein I am yet to provide invoice to the recipient, for which I have received the advance, which means I have recorded the advance in the books of accounts, and I also that amount is also credited in the bank account. So in this scenario, whether so if notification 66 does not released, means though in this scenario time of supply attracted on this, in which payment is recorded or payment is credited in the bank account of supplier. So this notification specifically exempted taxpayers to pay tax on advances received in case of supply of goods. Okay, all taxpayers they have exempted except in case of composition suppliers. So except in case of sample supply are exempted from paying GST at the time of receipt of advance in relation to supply of goods. So simple. Supply of goods அப்போ composition dealer தவிர இருக்க எல்லாருக்குமே அட்வான்ஸ் வாங்கினா ஜிஎஸ்டி வருமா வராதா? As per notification 66/2017 dated 15/11/2017 வராது. அப்போ காம்போசிஷன் சப்ளையருக்கு என்ன? அப்போ காம்போசிஷன் சப்ளை அட்வான்ஸ் வாங்கினா என்ன பண்ணும்? That will get to know now. Okay. Why composition suppliers? Composition suppliers, they have a separate mechanism in order to pay taxes basically. Okay. The composition supplier has to pay tax in lieu of tax payable by an amount calculated at prescribed rate applied on turnover in state or union territory for a quarter. Simple சொல்றீங்களா? ஒரு காம்போசிட் டீலர் ஒரு குவார்ட்டருக்கு அவன் எவ்வளவு டர்ன் ஓவர் பண்றானோ அதுல அவன் டாக்ஸ் கட்டினா போதும். அட்வான்ஸஸ் அப்போ கட்டணும்னு வாங்கும்போது அதெல்லாம் அவங்க பேசணும். டர்ன் ஓவர் எவ்வளோ அந்த டர்ன் ஓவருக்கு டாக்ஸ் கட்டு ஃபார் த குவார்டர் எண்டர், அவ்வளோதான் முடிஞ்சது. ஸோ அதுதான் காம்போசிட் டீலர். ஸோ ஈவன் தான் அங்கே ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கலி எக்ஸ்க்ளூடட் சொன்னா கூட திஸ் அட்வான்சஸ் இஃப் யூ ஆர் ரிசீவ்ட்னா இட் வில் நாட் பி அப்ளிகபிள். ஓகே, பிகாஸ் காம்போசிட் டீலருக்கு டாக்ஸ் இஸ் அப்ளிகபிள் ஒன்லி ஆன் turnover basis, not on receipt or invoice issued basis. Okay, so it is applicable only on turnover basis. So notification number 66 என்ன specifically சொல்லுதுன்னா, எல்லா டாக்ஸ் பேயரும் சப்ளை ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் பண்றீங்கன்னா அட்வான்ஸஸ் ஏதாவது ரிசீவ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா டாக்ஸ் கட்ட வேண்டாம் ஃபார் த அட்வான்ஸ் ரிசீவ். பட் சப்ளை பண்ணும்போது யூ ஹேவ் டு பே டாக்ஸ், தட் இஸ் ஃபார் ஷுர். ஸோ அட்வான்ஸ் ரிசீவ் பண்ணும்போது வேண்டாம். ஸோ டைம் ஆஃப் சப்ளை அப்போ அட்ராக்ட் ஆகல. இப்போ சப்ளை இன்வால்வ் மூவ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் கூட்ஸ் நீ டெலிவரி பண்ற இல்ல கூட்ஸ் ரிமூவ் பண்ற அப்போ டைம் ஆஃப் சப்ளை அட்ராக்டட். ஓகே, சோ இப்போதைக்கு நம்ம படிக்கிறச்ச இது பார்க்கணும்ன்ற அவசியமே இல்லை, ஓகே. சோ இப்போ டைம் ஆஃப் வாட் இஸ் டைம் ஆஃப் சப்ளை இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் சப்ளை இன்வால்வ்ஸ் மூவ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் கூட்ஸ், date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. அந்த ரெண்டு பார்த்துட்டு போயிட்டே இருக்கு. இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்கு ஆன்சர் பண்ணுங்க. Determination of time of supply in case of forward goods supplied on 3rd January 2023, invoice issued on 5th January 2023, payment received on 9th January 2023. So I am a supplier, I am supplying the goods to the recipient on 3/1/2023, for which I am issuing an invoice on 5th January 2023, against which recipient is paying the payment to me on 9th January 2023. When time of supply attracts, where supply involves goods movement. So whether payment received to be checked? No, right? Yeah, this should not be checked. So in these two cases, when is whichever is earlier is the time of supply. So when supply involves movement of goods, time of supply is date of invoice or date of removal of goods, whichever is earlier. In this scenario, time of supply is 3rd January 2023. Okay, when supply involves movement of goods, time of supply is date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Okay, that is forward charge mechanism in case of supply involves movement of goods. We'll get into another example where supply involves movement of goods. For another example, where the goods were, suppose I am a supplier, I am removing the goods to the recipient on 3rd January, for which I have issued the invoice on 1st January. For suppose I am suppose I am removing, suppose he has came to me and he requested for 10 lakhs steel basically. Okay, steel. And I was issued the invoice to him, for which I said that goods will be removed in 2 days. So removal of goods happened on 3rd January 2023. Invoice is issued on 1st January 2023, whereas goods were delivered to that recipient on 4th January 2023. Okay, whereas I have received an advance of 4 lakhs on 15th December 2022. So 15th December 2022, the recipient has made 4 lakhs of advance to the supplier, against which invoice was issued for 10 lakhs and goods were removed on 3rd January and the same was delivered to the recipient on 4th January. Balance of 6 lakh of rupees for the balance payment of 10 lakhs of 6 lakhs is received on 10th January 2023. When time of supply attracts. So time of supply, in case of supply involves movement of goods. So supply involves movement of goods, time of supply என்னப்பா சொல்லே formula சொல்லே or whatever method சொல்லே, date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. இந்த scenario என்ன date of removal of goods என்ன 3rd January, or date of invoice issued என்ன 1st January. So whichever is earlier என்ன 1st January. So time of supply is 1st January 2023. சரியா? So as per notification number 66 per date of payment பார்க்கணுமா பார்க்க கூடாதா? பார்க்க கூடாது. யாருக்குமே பார்க்க கூடாது. ஓ சப்ளை மூவ்மெண்ட் ஒரு இடத்துல இருந்து இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு போறதுப்பா, அதனால சப்ளை இன்வால்வ் மூவ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் கூட்ஸ் ப்ரொடக்ஷன். இப்போ ஒரே இடத்துல கூட்ஸ் வந்து கன்சம்ஷன் ஆக வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு, கரெக்டா? இப்போ நான் ஷூ வாங்கி அப்படியே போட்டுக்கிறேன், அங்கே கன்சம்ஷன் ஆகுது, வேற மூவ்மெண்ட்டே நடக்கல ஒரு இடத்துல இருந்து இன்னொருத்துக்கு. நான் ஃபுட்வேர் ஸ்டோர் போறேன், அங்க நான் ஷூ வாங்குறேன், ஷூ அங்கேயே நான் கன்சியூம் பண்ணிட்டு அப்படியே வந்துடுறேன். ஸோ இப்போ சப்போஸ் இந்த ப்ரீவியஸ் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஷூ நான் இங்க இருந்து அமேசான்ல ஆர்டர் பண்றேன்னு வச்சுக்கோ, அப்போ தேர் சப்ளை இன்வால்வ்ஸ் மூவ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் கூட்ஸ். இப்போ இந்த சீனாரியோ படி நான் ஷூ ஆர்டர் ஷூ அப்படியே ஸ்டோர்லயே வாங்கிட்டு அப்படியே ஐ எம் கன்சியூமிங் இட். இந்த கிரைட்டீரியாக்கு அந்த ப்ரீவியஸ் supply involved movement of goods பார்க்கணுமா? No. So we have to see this. Time of supply shall be date of delivery of goods or date on which goods made available to the recipient or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. இந்த criteria date of payment பார்க்கணுமா? No. As per notification number 66 2017 நம்ம பார்க்க வேண்டாம். So date of delivery of goods or date on which goods made available to the recipient or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Okay. Supply does not involve movement of goods. Date of delivery or date on which goods made available to the recipient or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. இந்த மூணு கிரைட்டீரியா நீ பாக்குற சம்ஸ்ல என்ன வருதோ அதை பாரு, அதை அப்படியே ஆன்சர் போட்டு போயிட்டே இரு. ஓகே. Supply does not involve movement of goods. This invoice issued on 7th January 2023. Delivery of goods on 4th January 2023. Date on which goods made available to the recipient on 5th January 2023. Recipient payment on 10th January 2023. So supply does not involve movement of goods. Formula and date of delivery of goods, date on which goods made available to the recipient or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. பார்த்து போயிட்டே receipt பார்க்கணுமா? இந்த சினாரியோ இதை பார்க்க வேண்டாம். இந்த மூணுத்துல whichever is earlier என்னது 4. So time of supply is 4th January 2007. So 4th January 23 ல தான் he is liable to pay taxes. So 4th January 2023 due date என்ன? 20th February 2023. So 20th February 2023 last date in order to remit the taxes to the government. So upon tax government remit பண்ணிடுவோம். So 20th December 2023 தான் அவனோட due date for remitting to the government. This date on which GST is attracted. So attracted, whereas due date padi he is remit to the government. So next scenario is time of supply in case of continuous supply of goods. So continuous supply நடந்துட்டே இருக்குப்பா. Suppose now already I have an example over there. So நம்ம ஆபீஸ்ல or wherever we have seen many corporates and all, water cans வந்து they will come and deliver daily and they will refill the water daily on a regular basis. So on the scenario daily there is a continuous supply of goods to the corporates by the some water service providers. Okay, on that scenario when time of supply is attracted, date on which statement of accounts issued or date of invoice, whichever is early. Date of payment பார்க்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை, சரியா? ஏது கொடுத்திருக்கேன்னா அவசியம் இல்லைன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு தான் கொடுத்திருக்கேன் பேசிக்கலி. ஓகே. So in case of continuous supply of goods, time of supply is date of invoice or date on which statement of accounts issued, whichever is earlier. அதை மட்டும் பார்த்துட்டு ஆன்சர் போட்டு போயிட்டே இரு. Time of supply. Okay. Determination of time of supply in case of continuous supply of goods. So okay, invoice is issued on 1st January 2023. Okay pa. Removal of goods on 15th December 2022. Okay, ba. Statement of accounts issued on 5th January 2023. Receipt of payment by the recipient on by the supplier on 10th January 2023. The first bold, so you should not see this receipt of payment. Okay. Invoice is issued on 1/1/2023. Removal of goods on 15th December 23. Statement of accounts issued on 5th. So date of invoice or statement of accounts issued, whichever is earlier in 1/1/2023. That is time of supply. Okay. So time of supply in case of continuous supply of goods, what is the formula? Date of invoice or date on which statement of accounts issued, whichever is earlier. Okay. What if statement of accounts issued on 31/12/2022? So date of invoice in 1/1/2023. Statement of accounts issued 31/12/2022. So இப்போ time of supply when? எப்போ time of supply? சொல்லுங்க. Yeah, time of supply is 31/12/2022. Which is time statement of accounts is issued earlier than issuing the date of invoice. So time of supply is earlier of date of invoice or date on the statement of accounts issued, whichever is date of statement of accounts issued. Okay. One of the beautiful example which I have drafted here. Okay. Says that continuous supply of goods or determination of time of supply for continuous supply of goods. ABC Limited supplying drinking water to XYZ Limited. Okay, ABC Limited supplying drinking water to XYZ Limited. So ABC Limited is the supplier, XYZ Limited is the recipient. Monthly payments are made by the recipient as per the contract. Okay. Every quarter, invoice is issued by the supplier, supported by the statement of goods dispatched and payments made. And the recipient has to pay the differential amount, if any. Every quarter, the supplier invoice is issued by the supplier, supported by the statement of goods dispatched. So, you statement of goods, you goods na anupichirukampa, adukku against na you receive pannirukkampa, na you invoice kuduthirukkampa. Balance இதுக்கு நீ பேமெண்ட் பண்ணுப்பா. சோ இதுதான் சொல்றாங்க and in the first 4 linesல. So on 1/2/2023, on 1/3/2023, on 1/4/2023, payment of 2 lakhs made in each month. So recipient continuous supply of goods வரும்போது ஒரு மாசத்துக்கு subsequent dayல month end subsequent dayல he is making the payment to the supplier of 2 lakhs each. So 1/2. So for the quarter, 4th quarter, Jan to March, he is making payment on 1st February, 1st March, 1st April. Okay. Whereas the service provider issued statement of accounts on 2nd April 2023 with the invoice for the quarter 4 of financial year 2022 to 2023. So ஒரு மாசத்துக்கு subsequent day he is receiving a payment of 2 lakhs, whereas on the month end subsequent day, which is quarter end, on 2nd April 2023, statement of accounts is issued with the invoice for the quarter 4. On 24/2023, differential payment of 60,000 is received by the supplier. So a total invoice value of 6,60,000 has been issued by the supplier to the recipient, against which on 1/2/2023, 1/3 and 1/4, he has received 2 lakhs in hand. Balance differential payment of 60,000 he has received on 20th April 2023. So when is the time of supply for each of the scenarios? So before getting into the time of supply, you have to understand a concept which is said in section 31 subsection 4. It says, in case of continuous supply of goods where successive statement of accounts or successive payments are involved, the invoice is issued before or at the time each statement is issued, or as the case may be, each payment is received. Okay. So let's learn again. In case of continuous supply of goods where successive statement of accounts or successive payments are involved, the invoice is issued before or at the time of each statement is issued, or as the case may be, each payment is received. Simple as successive payments or successive statement of accounts எங்க involved ஆயிருக்கோ அந்த இடத்துல எல்லாமே invoice has to be issued பா. So இப்போ successive payments வருதா அந்தந்த டைம்க்கு இன்வாய்ஸ் கொடுத்துரு. successive statement of accounts கொடுத்தாங்களா அப்பப்போ இன்வாய்ஸ் கொடுத்துடணும். before or at the time of issuance of statements of accounts அப்போ இன்வாய்ஸ் கொடுத்துரு. So invoice is to be issued before or at the time of each such statement is issued. So payment receive ஆனாலும் நீ இன்வாய்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும், statement of accounts receive ஆனாலும் நீ இன்வாய்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும் in case of continuous supply of goods. சார் நீங்க நோட்டிபிகேஷன் நம்பர் 66 சொன்னீங்களே tax on advances received in case of supply of goods க்கு applicable இல்லன்னு yes அப்போ சொல்லிருந்தேன். அப்போ நோட்டிபிகேஷன் நம்பர்ல என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்க, all taxpayers க்கு advances received, it is not an advance here. Whereas in this scenario you receive பண்ற எல்லா payments whereas subsequent goods were supplied throughout the month. Goods were supplied throughout the month in the each in that quarter, against which payment is received in the part basis. So part basis receive ஆயிருக்க payments எல்லாத்துக்கும் we have to receive an invoice, we have to issue an invoice. So that is what said in the 31 subsection 4. Therefore invoice should be issued on 1st January, 1st February, 1st March and 1st April when monthly payments of 2 lakhs are received. Thus time of supply will be 12, 13, 14 respectively for goods valued at 2 lakh each, and time of supply for 66,000 will be on 2/4/2020, that is the date of issuance of invoice. So if the question is, so supplying ABC Limited supplying drinking water to XY Limited, monthly payments are made by the recipient as per contract. Every contract invoice is issued by the supplier supported by a statement of goods dispatched and payments made, and the recipient has to make the differential payment if any. So 1/2/13/14 payment of 2 lakhs made, on 2/4 statement of accounts issued with invoice for the quarter end, and on 24 differential payment of 60,000 received by the supplier. So invoice is issued on 2/4/2023. Okay, so continuous supply நடக்கறச்ச அவன் statement of accounts எப்போ with invoice எப்போ கொடுத்திருக்கான் 2/4/2023. ஆனா அவன் எப்போ கொடுத்திருக்கணும், when you have received the successive payments of 2 lakhs in each month. So 1/2/13/14 is the time of supply for 6 lakhs, which is 2 lakh each per month, and balance 60,000 invoice on 2/4. So that is what concluded here. Time of supply will be 1/2/13/14 respectively for goods valued at 2 lakh each, and time of supply for goods for 60,000 will be on 2/4/2023, the date of issuance of invoice. So what if invoice is issued on 5th April 2023 and statement of accounts issued on 4th April 2023? So இப்போ சொல்லுங்க, invoice வந்து அவன் 5th April கொடுத்துட்டான், statement of accounts அவன் 4th April, which is previous day of issuing invoice he has issued. So time of supply in case of continuous supply, date of invoice, date on which statement of accounts issued, whichever is earlier. When successive payments involved in continuous supply of goods, then what is the time of supply? The invoice has to be issued or out to have been issued on the date of receipt of payment. So அந்த 3 தேதிக்கு of 2 lakhs each, that is the time of supply for 2 lakhs on respective dates, and balance 66,000 when is the time of supply, date of invoice or date on which statement of accounts issued, whichever is earlier. In this scenario, which is the date of which is earlier, statement of accounts is issued earlier before issuing invoice, which is 4/4/2023. See, 4/4/2023. Other answer is remains the same. Okay, next we'll come to the last and final topic for time of supply of goods in case of forward charge mechanism as per section 31 of CGST Act. Okay, time of shall be before or at the time of date of supply of goods, or 6 months from the date of removal of goods, or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Okay, simple as that. So I'm a supplier. Okay, on New Year, one of my customer has requested to send me the product, and I have also removed the goods on 1st January 2023. Okay, wherein the supply is based on approval basis. If it is not on approval basis, then date of supply, time of supply will be the date of removal of goods, which is on 1/1/2023, which I have read earlier. Whereas when the supply is on sale on approval basis or sale or return basis, in that scenario, there is a different formula, which is date of supply of goods or 6 months from the date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. So date of removal of goods epo 1/1/2023. Super. Invoice issued epo 25th August 2023. Okay. I accept panna on same day he has accepted. So accept பண்ணதுனால தான் he has issued an invoice. எப்போ பேமெண்ட் பண்ணிருக்கா, அவன் recipient வந்து receipt of payment is on 20th August. So 5 days before acceptance he has made the payment to the supplier. So in this scenario he has accepted one after so in this scenario he is accepted on basis of sale or return basis. So in the what is time of supply formula? Date of supply of goods or date on which 6 months from the date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. So 6 months from the date of removal of goods, 6 months now, 6 na 6 add panikina 7 varum. So 1/7/2023 is the last day. Correct? 1/7/2023 is the last day for time of supply attracts. So on the next day, time of supply is attracted, which is 2/7/2023. So 6 months from the date of removal of goods in 2/7/2023 or date of issuance in 25th August 2023. So whichever is earlier, accepted on same day. So whichever is earlier, 25th August or 2nd July, whichever is earlier, 2nd July. Okay. Okay. So time of supply in case of forward charge mechanism comes to an end. So we'll let's recapitulate what is we have learned. Okay. Time of supply in case of forward charge mechanism, where supply involves movement of goods, date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. When supply does not involve movement of goods, date of delivery of goods or date on which goods made available to the recipient or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. When continuous supply of goods, date on which statement of accounts issued or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. When successive payments are involved in case of supply, continuous supply of goods, the invoice to be issued on or before successive payments received. Okay, in that scenario alone, notification 66 is exempted. When supply time of, what is time of supply in case of sale or return basis? Date of supply of goods or 6 months from the date of removal of goods or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Okay, so let's get to the last topic, which is nothing but reverse charge mechanism. What is reverse charge mechanism? Reverse charge mechanism is where some purchases where the buyer must collect and pay the taxes directly to the government, right? Okay, so some purchases the recipient has to, okay, sorry, okay. Reverse charge, what is reverse charge mechanism? In case of forward charge mechanism, supplier will collect the tax from the recipient and remit it to the government. In case of reverse charge, it's nothing but opposite of to forward charge mechanism, where recipient will pay the taxes to the government. Okay, that is what reverse charge mechanism. Recipient is liable to pay the taxes to the government. Okay. What is the time of supply in case of those cases where time of supply of goods involved in case of reverse charge mechanism? Time of supply, date of receipt of goods or 31st day from supplier's invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So time of supply of goods in case of reverse charge mechanism: invoice issued on 1st January 2023, date of receipt of goods on 15th February 2023, date of payment in books on 18th February 2023, date on which payment is debited in the bank account of 22/2023. Oh, sorry, this I have to explain now. Okay, in case of reverse charge mechanism, where recipient is paying the amount to the supplier. In that case, date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of the recipient, or date on which amount is debited. In case of supplier, it is credited. In case of recipient, it is debited. Date on which amount is debited in the bank account of the supplier. Okay, so date on which bank debited is 20. So whichever is early in this scenario is 18/2. Okay, so date of receipt of goods on 15/12. Okay, 31st day from supplier's invoice. 31st day. So 30. So 31st Jan 2023 is the 30th day. Correct. So 31 minus 1 is 30. 30 plus 1 is 1st February 2023 is the time of supply. So 31st day from date of invoice is 1st February 2020. The date of receipt of goods is 15th February 2023, and date of payment is 18th February 2023. Whichever is earlier is 1st February 2023. Okay. The next topic is time of supply of goods as per section 12, subsection 4. Time of supply of goods in case of voucher exchangeable for goods. So vouchers example, coupons food coupons or meal coupons or lifestyle coupons, Reliance Trends coupons. How tax is attracted. That is what we are going to see. So vouchers exchangeable of goods. Time of supplies. Supplies are identifiable. Supplies are not identifiable. Supplies are identifiable. Identified பண்ணிப்பா தெரியுச்சுப்பா எதுக்காக குடுக்குறேன்னு தெரிஞ்சிச்சுப்பா. அப்போ date of issue of voucher. When supplies are not identifiable, date of redemption of voucher. Okay. Supplies identify பண்ண முடிஞ்சா date of issue of voucher. Supplies identify பண்ண முடிஞ்சா date of redemption of voucher. Okay. Based on this example, we'll understand what is time of supply in case of supply of vouchers. X Limited purchased dress coupons from Y Limited on 2nd January 2023. Okay. So 2nd January X Limited Y Limited dress coupons வாங்கிருக்கு. Okay. Y Limited எப்போ issue பண்ணிச்சு X Limited on 4th January 2000. 4th January, the date of issue of voucher is 4th January. Okay pa. The same were issued to its employees by X Limited on 5th January 2023. Okay. Employees encashed the voucher on 1st February 2023. Okay. So இப்போ நம்ம ரெண்டு இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ் தான் பார்க்கணும். Date of issue of voucher is 4th January 2023. Date of redemption of voucher is 1st February 2023. Okay. So what is said in case of vouchers exchangeable for goods? Supplies identifiable, supplies not identifiable. Supplies identifiable, date of issue of voucher. Supplies not identifiable, date of redemption of voucher. Okay. So if in this case whether is supplies identifiable, yes, it is identifiable. By X Limited purchase dress coupons. Dress coupons தான் வாங்குறா. So எல்லாருமே அந்த போய் redeem பண்ணும்போது என்ன வாங்கியிருப்பாங்க? ட்ரெஸ்ஸா தான் வாங்கியிருப்பாங்க. என்ன ட்ரெஸ்ஸா வாங்கியிருப்பாங்க? It's not a question. ட்ரெஸ்ஸா தான் வாங்கியிருப்பாங்க. So in this scenario, if supplies identifiable, there is date of issue of voucher, which is 4th Jan 2023. Okay. What if meal coupons provided in case of dress coupons? Okay, what is meal coupons provided in this scenario? Supplies are not identifiable. Suppose meal coupons பல departmental store coupons கொடுக்குறாங்கப்பா. அப்ப என்ன பண்ண departmental storeல enormous items இருக்கு. Correct. There is different supply of goods. Whereas dresses is nothing but supply of dresses alone. Whereas இங்க different supply departmental store எடுத்துக்கோங்களேன். Different supplies. Whereas starting from A to Z, all items are there in departmental store. So on that kind of whether supplies is identifiable. No, in that scenario, supplies are not identifiable. That is, then the time of supply is date of redemption of vouchers, which is 1st February 2023. Okay. Time of supply of goods on residual cases. மேல இருக்க எந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்லயும் அப்ளை ஆகலப்பா. இப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணும்? residual category-க்கு வந்துரு. Residual category என்ன சொல்றாங்க? Time of supply shall be periodical return to be find up பாரு. ஆமா, அவன் return ஃபைல் பண்ணனும். அப்பனா due date of filing return. Periodical return ஃபைல் பண்ணனும் அவசியம் இல்லப்பா. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணனும்? Date on which GST is paid. So residual casesல என்ன சொல்றாங்க? அவன் ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்ண வேண்டிய அவசியம் இருக்கான்னு பாரு. இருந்தா due date of filing return. அவன் ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்ண அவசியம் இல்லையா? இல்ல. எப்போ அவன் GST கட்டணும் அதான் time of supply. ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் வச்சு maybe we can understand. So in time of in case of residual cases, I took from the book only. Basically, investigation reveals supplier has supplied goods who is unregistered and under GST, and he voluntarily paid tax pays tax during investigation to close the case. என்ன பண்றான், அந்த GC is an unregistered person for which investigation was conducted in this place, business place, where he voluntarily pays the tax during investigation not to close the case when time of supply is attracted. So in the residual category na solraga, in whether if he is a registered person na periodic return to be filed vandirukum, which is due date of filing. He is not registered person, so in that another case what is the time of supply is date on which GST is paid. So time of supply is date on which tax is paid. As being unregistered, the supply is not required to file periodical return. Okay, time of supply of goods in case of special cases, starting with interest, late fee or penalty or any other delayed payment of consideration. What is time of supply? Is date of receipt of additional amount. Next, so சொன்ன amount ஓட additional ஒரு amount வந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு எப்ப time of supply? Date on which the receipt of additional amount. Okay, give an example. Where goods supplied on 6 months credit period. So I have supplied the goods for 6 months credit period. Invoice raised on 2nd January with penalty clause of 10% for delayed payments. Mr. X paid the amount on with penalty on 31st October. So invoice raised on the 2nd January. That is 6 months pota 2nd July வருது. Whereas whether he has paid the payment, no, he has paid the payment on 31st October 2023. So whether penalty clause attracted in the above instances, yes, it is attracted, wherein he has to remit extra 10% for the goods supplied for the invoices raised. So what is the time of supply in case of the above scenario? So other than penalty, the time of supply is 2nd January 2023. For penalty, the time of supply is 31/10/2020. That is date of receipt of additional amount. Time of supply of goods supplied on 31/10/2020 for the and time of supply for the penalty paid is 31/10/2023. Okay, section 13 and 14 will be taken in class. Yeah, that is for the day. Thank you. Hope you all enjoyed your session. We'll see you in class, guys. Thank you.